Hello, this is Fastech. Today we will introduce EC Servo 2 Plus E on Ethernet network product. There are 7 types of Plus E product: closed-loop stepping systems standard type, mini type, all-in-one type, and motion link, digital I/O module, and standard type and mini type of open-loop stepping system. We have a wide range of products, so we can provide a total solution that enables step, servo, and I/O to be controlled through the standard Ethernet port of a PC without a separate motion controller. Before introducing this Ethernet product, I would like to explain the Korean market situation first. When a customer configures the machine, PC, PLC, etc. are used in various ways as the main master. In the Korean market, this main master is an industrial PC. Almost 70 to 80% of them compose their machine based on PC. The main reason is that the software development environment is flexible when controlling manufacturing machine. In more detail, it is possible for customers to easily configure machine programs in a Windows-based programming environment by directly connecting to a Windows-based PC. In the Korean market, most of our customers use this Ethernet product a lot. In addition, the most widespread software development environment in the world is PC. And Windows-based C++, C, C#, Visual Basic, LabVIEW, etc. It can be used in common worldwide. Therefore, Fastech Ethernet product provide API for these programming languages, making them ideal for various customer software development environments. Now, using actual machine as an example, I would like to introduce the concept of Ethernet product development. This machine aligns the lens and sensor of the camera module used in smartphone. As you can see in the photo on the left, the customer applied 10 axis of EC Servo 2 plus E and 5 axis of AC Servo. Manufacturing machine requires a servo motor, stepping motor, and I/O at the same time. In the case of this 10-axis EC Servo, the customer can directly connect to a PC through the Ethernet port and control it using the Windows-based API provided by Fastech. But a separate motion board is required to control the 5-axis AC Servo. The customer needs to configure two different software development environments: a software environment to control an EC Servo, a software environment to control an AC Servo. This is cumbersome from the customer's point of view, and costs are increased by a separate motion board to control the 5-axis AC Servo. In addition, long and thick bundles of wires connected from the purse end of the AC Servo to the motion board are required, making the wire complicated. In the next chapter, I will explain this in the picture. As previously explained briefly, conventionally, a separate motion board was required to control the 5-axis of the AC Servo, and wiring was complicated because a long and many bundles of wires had to be connected to the motion board through the servo interface cable of the AC Servo drive. This inconvenience can be solved by using our product EC Motion Link Plus E. EC Motion Link Plus E is an Ethernet type 1-axis motion controller that can be used immediately by plugging it into the interface connector of the AC Servo drive. As you can see, for example, there is a Panasonic servo drive. Motion Link can be directly attached to the servo interface connector of this Panasonic servo drive. The servo interface connector of Panasonic servo drive is 3M50 pin, and the most major servo drive also adapt this connector. Since Fastex Motion Link also adapt this 3M50 pin connector, it is compatible with most major servo drives. However, the pin map may be different for each servo drive. For example, if the servo on signal of Yaskawa servo is number 5, Mitsubishi is only assigned number 7. But the function of the interface is the same. This is the same for Korea servos. This eliminates the existing complex wiring bundles from AC servo to motion board through cables. By using a one-axis motion controller called Motion Link, you can control 5-axis AC servo with an API provided by Fastech with only an Ethernet communication cable without a separate motion board. Also, I mentioned that 2 different software environments were required to control 10 axis of AC servo and 5 axis of AC servo. Through Motion Link, AC servo 5 axis can now be used in the same Ethernet network and software environment using the API library of AC servo. In other words, a total of 15 axes can be operated with one program. I will show you another practical application example. As you can see, Motion Link is directly connected to a total of 8 axes of AC servos, and Motion Links are connected through a daisy chain through Ethernet ports. Though simple wiring, AC servo and EZ servo can be driven by one Ethernet network at the same time. Since I/O is connected at the same time, if you use Motion Link for such a small machine, you can control servo, step, I/O through Fastex API through one Ethernet network without a separated motion board for AC servo. Therefore, it is possible to save the cost by removing unnecessary motion board and reducing wiring. In summary, the above is as follows. Since Fastech Ethernet communication products basically provide Windows-based libraries, customers can select and program C++, C, C#, Visual Basic, LabVIEW, etc. by using them. In addition to the library, GUI software is provided and can be downloaded for free from the Fastech homepage. In summary, because it is an embedded controller, plus it does not require a motion board as described earlier, and uses a standard Ethernet network to provide various Fastech Ethernet products and AC servo with easy Motion Link, a one-axis motion controller you can control at once. Overall, it is shown in the table below. In the case of one machine, especially small one, the entire machine can be configured with our product by utilizing plus E of the step, Motion Link for servo and I/O. This is the meaning of the total solution we aim for. This demonstration shows that Fastech's 28 axis of Ethernet product, 4 axis of AC servo. So 32 axis and I/O were controlled by one Ethernet network, as in the previous application example. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. EC Servo 2P and AC Servo such as Mitsubishi, Panasonic, Yaskawa, and Sanyo were connected by Motion Link to control SALT 2 axis at the same time. As you can see, the AC servo and EC servo are controlled by one network and program. There is no need for a separate motion board and can operate simply with a PC. From now on, I will describe the Fasttek Ethernet product individually. First, Fasttek currently has a one-axis motion controller, Motion Link, a closed-loop stepping system, EC Servo 2 Plus E, and EC Servo 2 Plus E Mini, and EC Servo 2 Plus E All, and an open-loop stepping system, EG Step 2 Plus E, and EG Step 2 Plus E Mini, and Ethernet I/O products, Easy I/O Plus E. The first product is Easy Motion Link, a one-axis motion controller using Ethernet communication. This product connects AC servo via Ethernet. I will explain the model name. ML means for Motion Link, and PE means for Plus E, which stands for Ethernet Communication Product with Embedded Controller. YAS means for Yaskawa. The types of servo that can be supported are as follows. As you can see, it can be connected directly to the servo driver, which can save wiring. Since most of the servo driver use 3M50 pin, it can be easily connected to our Motion Link. As explained first, window-based API and GUI are provided for PC users. Multiple applications can be run at the same time. Through this, it is possible to monitor parameter values, I/O status, position values, speed values, etc. Through our GUI program, even when the machine program used by the customer is running. For example, you can check whether the limit sensor works properly during machine setting by running our GUI at the same time. If a problem occurs in the customer's machine program, it can be monitored through our GUI program. So, it can also be used for debugging. Built-in two-port switching hub allows up to 254 axes to be connected. Compared to the limit of 16 axes, even when the RS485 communication type product, named EC Servo Plus R, is at its maximum, EC Servo 2 Plus E has 10 times faster communication response speed, so the number of axes that can be connected has increased. It can be connected to various servo drives, Mitsubishi, Yaskawa, Panasonic, and Sankyo, etc. The second product is EC Servo 2 Plus E, our standard drive product. First of all, I will explain the combination model name of the motor and drive of the EC Servo 2 Plus E product as an example. In EC Servo 2 PE, PE means embedded controller with Ethernet network. 42 means 42mm motor frame size, and XL means motor length. A means a product with 10,000 PPR encoder applied. Motor size refers to the dimension of this part, which is the size of the front part. Selectable from NEMA 8, which means 20 millimeters, to NEMA 34, which means 86 millimeter. Motor length means this part, and there are small, medium, large, and extra large. The lengths you can select depending on the motor size. The encoder resolution can also be selected as shown in the table. Gearbox and brake specifications are also available. Please refer to the catalog for details. Ethernet characteristics are the same as described earlier. In addition, high-resolution encoder is attached to every precise position control. It depends on the motor size, but up to 20,000 resolution encoders can be used. Due to the characteristic of the stepping motor, it does not require a separate gain tuning, which can reduce maintenance efforts. For example, the motor can be operated without gain tuning after power on. Since the holding torque is large, there's no vibration after stopping compared to the AC servo. In general, with controlling a stepping motor, heat is a problem because the maximum current follows regardless of the load. But since AC servo controls two current according to the load like an AC servo, it can relatively suppress heat generation compared to the existing stepping motor. Fastech Plus E products have general purpose inputs and outputs that users can use. Therefore, it is not necessary to use separate I/O module, and cost reduction is possible. User input is the number of inputs that can be used by the user except for origin, limit plus, and limit minus. And the user output is the number of outputs that can be used by the user except for brake. You can use I/O without a separated I/O module through the I/O terminal of the drive. For example, AC Servo 2 Plus E can use 9 user inputs in addition to 3 fixed input, as I said, origin, limit plus, and minus, and 9 user outputs in addition to 1 fixed output is brake. The input-output that the user wants, such as sensor, can be used only with a Fastech Plus E drive without a separated I/O module. In the demonstration you are seeing, a cam-shaped structure is mounted on the end of a small motor, enabling high-speed short-pitch motion to be realized without collision. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. Our product provides high resolution of 4000 PPR and 16,000 PPR even with small size motors. Due to the characteristic of the stepping motor, it can be stopped precisely at the desired position without hunting. Even if it moves quickly over a short distance due to its high holding torque, as by applying the holding torque characteristic of the stepping motor and high resolution through our encoder, our products have an advantage when you need continuously move such a short distance at high speed. This demonstration shows 3D and curved motion using AC Servo 2 Plus E. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. When conducting a smartphone vision inspection, recent smartphones are not dated and have many curved surfaces, so inspections from various angles are required. Likewise, the holding torque characteristic of the stepping motor, vision inspection is possible without hunting, even in high-speed, short-pitch movements. In addition, our product provides a force control function. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. In this demonstration, the upper motor is pressed with a certain amount of torque, and the lower motor moves the position of the work. In the conventional position control method, when the lower half disc moves, the position value of the upper motor changes and an alarm occurs. However, if it is driven by force control, it implements a constant pushing motion with a certain amount of torque rather than a position value, so an alarm does not occur. This is a necessary control method when the target position value varies depending on the object. For example, when the gripper is used to pick up objects of different size, or when fastening to objects of different height. Let's take a look at the actual application demonstration once more. This demonstration that simultaneously realizes force control through gripper and position control of the slide using Festo Mini Slide. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. As you can see, the three objects are of different sizes. If you need to pick up objects of different sizes, 1. You must set different positions to each object. 2. An alarm occurs if the position is slightly shifted. 3. Even if the target position is reached, the position may vary depending on the state of the object. So there is no guarantee that the object has been picked up. However, in case of applying force control, 1. It is not necessary to set different positions individually because the pushing continues with a constant torque regardless of the size of the object. 2. Since the position is not moved, the alarm does not occur even if the position is changed. 3. As it is basically a pushing motion, it is possible to guarantee more certainty than moving a position in the grabbing motion. The third product is Easy Servo 2 Plus C Mini, a compact drive product. I will explain the combination model name of the motor and drive. In Easy Servo 2 PE, PE means Embedded Controller with Ethernet Network, and MI means for mini, which means a mini size drive product, and motor size, length, and encoder resolution. Gearbox and brake specifications are also available. Please refer to the catalog for details. Easy Servo 2 Plus C Mini is an Ethernet-based closed-loop stepping system product. You can save cost through space saving and less wiring effect by using a compact drive. The application examples will be explained later. These contents are common to Fastech Plus E drive product. Unlike previous Fastech Mini type products, 56 and 60 mm size motors can also be used in combination, allowing a wider selection of motors. In fact, to explain space saving, wiring saving, and cost saving, I will show you a 7-axis robot as an example. In general, to operate 7 motors attached to a robot, 7 motor cables, 7 encoder cables are needed. There were a lot of wires because a total of 14 cables had to be connected to the driver installed in the control box. In addition, a separate control box for the driver was required, taking up space. Next, I will tell you about wiring and space saving when a 7-axis robot is configured using a mini type drive and all-in-one type drive. First, the mini type is compact and lightweight, so it can be mounted directly on the robot body. So the mini drive can be mounted near the motor mounted on the robot. Therefore, the distance between the robot and the drive is very short. So it is possible to wire the motor cable and encoder cable very short. For reference, the 5 all-in-one products used in this robot do not need to wire the motor and encoder cable because the drive is built into the back of the motor. Therefore, in case of using the mini drive and all-in-one type drive, a separate control box is not required. The only one that is actually wired is an Ethernet cable from the Plus-E master and a 24-volt power cable. In conclusion, since the cable wiring is reduced, there is a great effect of reducing the cost and preventing malfunction due to wiring. For reference, recently the size of smartphone-related machine is small and there are many motors. So wiring and space are becoming more important. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. This is the part to which the mini type drive is applied. This is the part where the all-in-one type product is applied. I will show you an enlarged part of the mini drive. The drive connected to the hollow shaft motor is attached directly to this part, and the drive applied to the gripper shaft is attached directly to this part. This is the part applied to the gripper axis. The encoder cable is connected like this, and the motor cable is connected like this. You can check that the cable wiring is short because the distance between the motor and the driver is close. The size of EC Servo 2 Plus-E mini drive is 1/3 the size of the Plus-E standard type drive. The size is similar to the size of a business card. Unlike existing mini type drives, as you can see, the drive can be installed by screw mounting holes so that the drive can be mounted in the vertical and horizontal directions. The first product, EC Servo 2 Plus-E All, is an all-in-one product that combines an Ethernet network with a motor, encoder, drive, controller. I will explain the product model name. PE means embedded controller with Ethernet network, and all means an all-in-one product that combines motor, drive, and encoder and controller. These are motor size, length, and encoder resolution. R means RJ45 connector type. EC Servo 2 Plus-E All has these motor size, length, and encoder resolution. There are two types of connectors, M connector and RJ45 connector. Gearbox and brake specifications are also available. Please refer to the catalog for details. Since the drive is attached to the motor, there is no need to wire the motor and encoder cable, and there is no need for a separate control box for installing the drive. Saving space and reducing wiring can result in cost savings. It has features in common with other Fastech Plus-E products mentioned before. And you can choose from two connector options, M and RJ45, and 4 motor sizes. This is an EC Servo 2 Plus-E All 2-axis demonstration that shows high-speed, short-pitch motion by crossing these bars and these bars. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. It rotated by attaching a bar to the motor shaft, and the other motor crossed the plate with a small groove by moving it back and forth. You can see the bar and plate engage without collision while the two motors are running in high-speed, short-pitch motion. This operation is possible because of the precise position control through high-resolution encoder and the characteristics of a stepping motor without hunting. This is a demonstration of controlling the Delta robot of Aegis in Germany with 3 axes. The product names used in this demonstration are as follows. This is the M-Type MRJ45 type connector. It is a product that combines the Ethernet network with motor, encoder, drive. Aegis robot and motor are connected without a gearbox. It is the characteristic of the stepping motor that generates the greatest force when started, so you can control the Delta robot without a gearbox. In general, servo motors are used a lot for Delta robots. However, when a servo motor is used, the power at stop is small, so most of the servo motors are driven by installing a gearbox. In case of stepping motors, the robot can be connected directly to the motor shaft without a gearbox because it generates the greatest force when started. Since it is an all-in-one product with a motor and a drive, space is saved by not requiring a separate space for the drive. In addition, there is no need for a motor cable or an encoder cable, so there is an effect of reducing wiring. It is a good example that a stepping motor can be applied because it repeats stopping and driving. The fifth product is an open-loop stepping system product, Easy Step 2 Plus E. STEP means a product line that operates as an open-loop stepping system without an encoder, and PE means embedded controller with Ethernet network. This is motor size and motor length. Brake can be combined from 42mm size motor. It has features in common with other Fastex closed-loop stepping system Ethernet product mentioned it before. The difference is that it's an open-loop stepping system without an encoder, so when checking the current position, it is substituted with the command position. The sixth product is Easy Step 2 Plus E Mini, an open-loop stepping system mini-sized drive product. Easy Step 2 PEMI means a mini-type product that operates in an open-loop stepping system without an encoder and embedded controller with Ethernet network. This is motor size and motor length. Brake can be combined from 42mm size motor. As mentioned in the previous case, you can achieve space saving and reduced wiring by using a mini-sized drive. Plus E features are the same as closed-loop stepping system product. Although it is a mini-type drive product, it is possible to combine up to 56 and 60mm size motors. The difference is that it's in an open-loop stepping system without encoder, so when checking the current position, it is substituted with the command position. Lastly, the seventh product is the digital I/O module based Ethernet network, Easy I/O Plus E. I/O means I/O module, P means embedded controller with Ethernet network, and I16O16N means NPN type product with input 16 channel and output 16 channel. E means a product that uses an Econ type connector. There are two options, 16 channel and 32 channel. An input-output alone or mixed selection is possible. For example, some products have 16 inputs and 16 outputs in one EZ-IO plus E. There are NPN and PNP types, and there are so many options to choose as like this. There are two types of connector types, Econ and terminal block. It can be used by connecting sensor and so on. EZ-IO plus E is an Ethernet-based digital I/O module. As mentioned it before, there are Econ and terminal block connector types, and there are two options, 16 channel and 32 channel. It is possible to select input, output alone or mixed type. For each option, NPN type and PNP type can be selected. With digital I/O using photocoupler, the output current per channel is 200 mA. This is an 8-axis ball demonstration applied with a +C total solution provided by Fasttek. 8-axis consists of 4 axes of all-in-one type products, 2 axes of standard type, 2 axes of mini type. EZ-IO plus E is also applied. The product name used in this demonstration are as follows. The 8 axes are connected in a daisy chain and are simultaneously controlled by one master PC. The program used Fasttek's window-based library. Here is +C demonstrations that can be rented for customer testing. This is a 2-axis demonstration that allows you to test to EZ Servo 2 plus E and EZ Motion Link, which connected to AC Servo, and EZ-IO plus E together. This demonstration is wired so that you can test it right away by simply connecting it to the master in use. The product used in this demonstration is as follows. Since I/O is wired, external input-output tests can be performed using the front panel button and LED. So far, we have briefly described 7 types of Fasttek Ethernet products. For more detailed information, catalog, product manuals, and product video can be downloaded from the Fasttek website www.fasttek.co.kr. Also, if you search Fasttek on YouTube, you can see about more 100 products application videos. Thank you.